Hey guys, this is Christopher Coates. I'm one of the attorneys here at Coates & Todd, and today I want to spend some time talking about how work activity can affect your disability case. I'm going to start off with some basic concepts and then move on to some common questions. But if you find yourself getting lost at all, don't feel nervous. That's pretty common because this is, after all, pretty complicated stuff. Feel free to skip ahead to the end of the video. There I'm going to have just kind of a two-part takeaway that helps kind of bring home the basics and some practical information that people can take away. And typical disclaimers apply. This is just for general education purposes, and it's not intended to be a substitute for one-on-one legal advice that an attorney can give you that's unique to your situation. Since this gets confusing pretty quickly, let's start simple. When you first apply for disability, the first thing that Social Security is going to ask themselves is this person working? And if the answer to that question is yes, then you're not disabled. So I just can't work and collect disability. Sounds simple? Well, not quite. Social Security doesn't use the word work in this context. What they really refer to is the term substantial gainful activity, or SGA for short. And what is SGA? It's more than you just sitting there staring off into space. It's got to be significant physical or mental activities. And it's got to be gainful in the sense that it's the kind of thing that you would do for pay or profit, regardless of whether pay or profit's actually realized. Okay, so it's got to be substantial and gainful, but that doesn't really help, does it? I mean, what's a significant physical or mental activity? Seems pretty vague, doesn't it? There is a way to help clarify that. And basically, it's a specific dollar amount per year. That if you're making more than that per month, Social Security basically assumes that you're performing substantial gainful activity. And that amount, for instance, for 2020, which is when I'm recording this, is $1,260 per month. So if you're making that amount or more, then Social Security basically says that's substantial gainful activity. So what if you're just a hair over the substantial earnings amount? And I mentioned for 2020, it's $1,260 a month. Well, sometimes you can still avoid this SGA issue if you can prove that you're having to take costly medications that are necessary so that you can work. The cost that you're actually paying out of pocket can be something that can reduce that amount where it's below the substantial earnings threshold. Other exceptions are if the work was done under special conditions or was subsidized. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. It won't happen again. So here's some other questions that sometimes come up. Can I collect unemployment and get disability? You can collect unemployment and get disability, but just bear in mind that when you file for unemployment, you're swearing under penalty of perjury that you're willing and able to work and that you're looking for work. And so when you have a disability case and you go in front of a judge, for instance, and they find out that you are collecting unemployment, it doesn't look real good. What happens if I apply for disability benefits and I try to go back to work, but I can't? Will that be held against me? Not at all. In fact, Social Security has a concept called the unsuccessful work attempt, which is basically this. If you've been out of work for 30 days or more, and you try to go back to work, but you can't hold the job because of your medical condition, and your work attempt lasts for only 6 months or less, Social Security won't hold that against you. Bear in mind, though, that your testimony alone probably isn't going to establish that your work attempt was unsuccessful. You're probably going to want to get documentation from your employer, probably something from a supervisor or at the very least coworkers that was showing that you were struggling to perform the job and that you were let go because of your medical condition. This was a really hard video to make because it's so confusing. I mean, you've got substantial gainful activity, you've got substantial earnings, and substantial earnings change from year to year. You've got unsuccessful work attempts, and you've got unemployment. Then there's different standards if you're found disabled that you go back to. As confusing as all that is, I have a basic takeaway that's basically two parts. First part is this. Any work activity that you do is probably going to hurt your case. But that being said, the second part is this. If you can work, you should work. Here's the thing. America has the strictest disability program of any industrialized country. And it's a notoriously long process. You don't want to have to wait a year or longer without any kind of money for food or basic necessities in the hopes that the government just gives you a handout. You know, when you're working, you're paying into the Social Security Trust Fund so that if things really do get grim and you do have to apply down the road, you can claim those benefits that you've been paying for. So yeah, work is probably going to hurt your disability case in one way or another. But practically speaking, for most people, I've found that if they can work, they really should. Anyway, I hope you found some of that information helpful. But if you have other questions, please feel free to reach out to us or visit our website at www.coatesandtoddlaw.com. We have some written content there, some blogs, and even some educational videos that address some of these issues that come up from time to time. So as always, stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.